All right, this is going to be a short video. I'm just going to have some B-roll footage rolling in the background. This shouldn't take very long for me to explain it all. I'm just making this because I feel like this is a topic that comes up a lot, and it's really annoying having to explain to people why this is such a dumb topic to bounce on. I really think that there's basically no reason for there to be 4 stars in the game, and it really bothers me when people ask for more 4 stars because I just think that they just don't add anything to the game whatsoever, and we're kind of just asking for different things basically. Or rather, I should say, um, people ask for 4 stars when really they should be asking for other things. When subconsciously they're actually asking for something else that you don't actually need a 4 star to accomplish. So some of the common reasons that I see when people talk about adding more 4 stars to HSR is stuff like it's more player friendly, or we need alternative options, or 4 stars in other games are really strong. And I feel like there's an issue with kind of all three of these. Uh, for me, the 4 star situation HSR is really just it doesn't really feel like they could add anything to the game that wouldn't just be checking boxes like I see in other Whaleverse games. So probably the first reason I'd like to go down is you still need to pull for 4 star characters. The average number of pulls needed to pull a specific 4 star is about 30. So about once every 30 pulls, you can expect a specific 4 star on the current featured banner. And the big difference between 4 stars and 5 stars is that 4 stars don't have bad luck protection. So if you're really unlucky, you can just keep getting the wrong 4 star over and over and over, and there is absolutely nothing you can do to curb your bad luck. Um, with the with the number of average pulls being 30, this means that if you want 7 copies of a 4 star to get them E6, we're looking at an average of 210 pulls total. So if you want a more reliable number, we're going to have to go a bit higher than 210 pulls. We're probably getting closer to, I want to say 400, 450 pulls, which is about the cost you can expect to reliably get a character's E2, a 5 star feature character's E2. So I don't know about you, but this doesn't really seem very player friendly, spending 450 pulls to get a 4 star to exist. I think this is really dumb. This is a really dumb argument. Um, Another big one is that we already receive a lot of free characters. We're just not getting 4 stars. Instead, we're getting 5 star characters. So in 2025, now that that year is over, we actually got 5 5 stars at the very least. We got 2 golden companion spirits that you could exchange for a limited selection of 5 stars. Now you could argue that maybe the 5 stars they were distributing like weren't the best, but I mean a free 5 star is a free 5 star, and Ron May at the very least is a really good generic buffing character that you can use on multiple teams. We also got a standard 5 star character, but we also got 2 limited 5 star characters. And I'm not even mentioning the free Doctor Ratio that we got way back in, what was it, 2023 for the Game Awards. Doctor Ratio isn't exactly like the greatest character now, but at the time when he came out, up until about Phase Zhao's release, like Doctor Ratio was still very relevant in game content, very good. So you can't even make the argument that the characters that are being given out for free are bad. They're genuinely very, very strong. And it makes it easier to pull for vertical investment on their banners. So for example, like with Archer or Dan Hung Preservations, E1, they're very valuable, and it's a lot easier to argue for pulling those if you already get the base character for free. And on top of that, we're still getting events that also give out 4 star characters and 4 star light cones that you can use to build your characters. To make a quick contrast with other Hoyoverse games, we can look at a game like Zenless Zone Zero, which for some mystical reason that I do not understand, people say is more generous than Honkai Star Rail, despite the fact that in 2025 they gave away one free S rank character. Um, Genshin, on the other hand, also has about what 50, I will say 40, 49, 49 4 star characters. That is way more than you can have reasonably distributed for free. There's just a lot to go through. It's very unlikely, even if you play from day one, that you have like every single 4 star at C6, especially with the low number of pulls that Genshin tends to give out in most patches these days. So I'm really surprised that people consider HSR to be so stingy when we get a lot of free stuff. So it isn't even an issue of like, oh, we're not getting 4 stars. Like, I just don't see a reason for us to get 4 stars when we're getting limited 5 stars for free. Like literally just getting something even better than a 4 star for free. It it blows my mind. Um, and despite what people might want to say, uh, there are also plenty of players that have negative perceptions of 4 star characters. When a character is a 4 star, they're typically perceived as being weaker or less important, both in terms of the story and in terms of their gameplay strength. And this really frustrates players who are fans of the characters. If you like a character, the odds are pretty good you want them to be good, and seeing them as a 4 star is probably going to put a damper on that. Sure, there's going to be some contrarians that are like, oh, but I don't really care if my character's weak, or actually, I want my character to suck. Those people are just contrarians, and they're a minority, and I don't really care what their opinion is. Um, moving on. Uh, Probably the biggest issue, and probably like the main practical reason why we don't actually get 4 star characters in this game that like we used to, is because of the power budget. So because of the rarity difference, we're expecting 5 stars. Just like I've mentioned before, we expect 5 stars to be better than 4 stars, which means that 4 star characters are going to have weaker kits than 5 star characters. Like this is just intuitive, right? Um, and people are probably going to bring up 4 star characters like in Genshin Impact, like Bennett. Oh my God, Bennett, or any number of the 1.0 4 star characters are still relevant today. And to be completely frank, those characters are extremely overtuned. They're an anomaly. They are the exception. They are not the rule. Um, when you look in Genshin Impact, which has a ton of 4 stars, where they just constantly pump out 4 stars every single region, out of like the 49 characters that we have in Genshin, there are, I would say, maybe a quarter of them are legitimately good and worth building if you get them, with nearly the entire rest of them just being super niche or just garbage. People might be like, "Oh, but Amber is really good for Stygian Onslaught. She's really good on like all these different teams." Yeah, Amber does the same thing that she does at level 1 with no gear that she does if you decided to like max route or all that. Like it doesn't. There's no functional difference because she doesn't actually do any damage. It's just purely because of her elemental application. So characters like that I would consider very niche. I do not consider them good. They don't really add value unless you have the team that's going to utilize them properly. Um, so with that in mind, having more 4 stars doesn't inherently mean that we can expect that most of the 4 stars are even going to be good. So from a developer's perspective, or rather from whoever's perspective, why would they consider spending man hours, precious man hours that could be used to pump out more content or more 5 star characters on stuff that isn't going to be good and isn't going to make them as much money? Uh, so just to summarize, the dev hours are probably the single biggest reason why we aren't getting more 4 star characters. So I think why this topic gets breached so much is because people have a certain problem in mind and they think that 4 star characters are the solution to that problem, and that's where I would disagree. So when people say they want more 4 star characters, what they're actually saying what they want is they want characters that are easy to get, easy to build, offer high performance, and are flexible. And if you notice, basically none of those things are unique to 4 star characters. We're already getting that from limited 5 star characters, like I said before. Another thing that people are also going to want is they want ways to keep their characters relevant or be able to improve them without wasting lots of pulls on gotcha. Because, some you can tell some people that, oh, you can just pull for E2 or E1 of a character, and they're like, no, I don't want to do that. And, I mean, you have pulls, you got to use them somewhere. But I can also understand, like, being able to improve characters in ways that aren't gotcha would also be pretty nice. So, with that in mind, the actual solutions to this quote-unquote 4 star problem that we have in this game is just asking for more character Nova Flares, which fortunately we're getting some Nova Flares in the 4.x version, which is really, really good. Asking for more character distribution events so we can just keep getting more free limited 5 stars, and asking for ways to improve characters without requiring gotcha. So yeah, overall, I just, for the reasons I've explained here, I just don't think that it's really worth talking too much about getting 4 stars. I feel like it's really pointless, and it doesn't really fix the actual problems that people have with the game. So yeah, that's going to be it from me. Hopefully this video was informative. If you have any thoughts, you can just leave them in the comments. Anyway, that's it. See ya.